Shalimar Recording Company Limited has the most modern video equipment, and the technicians possess the professional expertise to bring you the best in video cassette entertainment. To protect you from buying an inferior illegally copied cassette, all genuine Shalimar video cassettes have brown tape guard with SRC embossed on it.
The handicrafts of a country reflect their cultural moorings. Pakistan is no exception. Like other visual arts, handicrafts in Pakistan are the expression of the feelings and attitude of the craftsman in relation to their environment and social and cultural patterns. They proudly share their age-long heritage and tradition with their 1100 million people living in the 4 provinces, Sindh, the NWFP, Punjab and Balochistan, which comprise Pakistan. The climate, geophysical and ecological conditions of each province determine the lifestyle of the people, which collectively add color, depth, freshness and innovation to the industry known as the cottage industry. Cottage industry, however, cannot be distinguished from what is termed as handicrafts. Both are inseparable. This may be the reason why our agreed definition of what constitutes handicrafts is not possible. What is generally acceptable is that articles that are prepared with locally manufactured tools and materials are handicraft products. Small gadgets and machines are also used, which are operated both by hands and feet. Most of our people live in villages. Naturally, therefore, a network of handicrafts of various types and description have developed and flourished in every village and small towns, approximately covering an area of 310,403 square miles. Quite a few village folks have taken to handicrafts as part-time work. Besides being a supplement to their income, they find the occupation absorbing. They give more to it than their skill and labor. They put their heart into it. Women comprise half of Pakistan's population. They are marching forward in step with men. They are also involved in the production of various handicrafts in a big way. In fact, some of the cottage industries are considered as their exclusive preserve. This is a way to provide financial support to their families. Similarly, a sizable number of youngsters, both girls and boys, get involved and lend support to their elders. The skilled hands of today have inherited the centuries-old expertise and traditions handed over to them by their ancestors. Pottery making is a time-tested ancient skill. Little has changed fundamentally since then. The people here are engaged in making pottery on the pattern of their predecessors. The Indus Valley civilization has treasured them in abundance. Earthenware of this style is hardly in existence anywhere in the world. Pottery making seems to have reached its zenith. Pakistan, some samples as old as 7,000 years have been discovered and are displayed in museums. and geometrical designs of the Islamic period are also available. The prominent centers of pottery making in Pakistan are Peshawar, capital of the NWFP, Gujarat, Bahawalpur, Hala, Nasirpur and Silvan in the Sindh province. The earthenwares made in these centers are delicate and shining as compared with those made in the European countries because they absorb the brightness of sunshine, a free and liberal gift of nature to this part of the world. The colors of the earthenwares of various regions differ from each other due to the variety of clay and weather conditions. The earthenware in and around Bahawalpur is a class by itself. It is extremely thin, delicate and elegant. It is therefore called thin paper pottery. Another distinct handicraft of this region is glazed tiles. Nasirpur, Hala and Multan are its important centers. This work is called Kashi, a name derived from an Iranian city Kashan, a famous center for glazed tiles. The designs carved in blue color on these tiles speak for themselves. These tiles used in the mosques in Sindh and southern Punjab enormously enhance their beauty. Pakistan is the land of silver fiber. The most ancient samples of cotton and cotton clothes are found in this region. In most of the villages, house looms have been installed, which produce various articles of daily use. In ancient times, almost every house had a loom or at least a spinning wheel. Different types of objects are also made of cotton fiber. The dexterity of the craftsman leaves everyone dazed when the finished goods are displayed. Khadr is very popular for daily wear. The aristocracy also uses it as a fashion. Khadr absorbs heat and one feels comfortable. The Kais and Susi cotton carpets are produced in villages of Sindh and Punjab. Susi, Motro and Gudbi are the types of clothes which are made of cotton fabrics. They always remain in great demand, particularly among the women folk. Reason, they look simple, elegant and they are inexpensive as well. Ajrak is a multi-purpose cotton sheet. Predominant colors are dark blue and maroon with a sprinkling of white base in a variety of designs. One single ajrak requires over 6,000 block printing, a painstaking exercise indeed. Ajrak passes through some 16 phases before completion. Ajrak designs are profusely copied on other cotton garments. The art of turning goat's hair into thin threads is another painstaking exercise. Besides garments, various other objects are also prepared with these threads. Embroidery in cotton, silk, wool, gold and silver threads has a tradition of its own in Pakistan. It is essentially a folk art and almost a monopoly of women. Every growing girl has to learn it, and unless she does this, her credibility as a useful family member remains in question. There are a number of common factors in Sindhi and Balochi embroidery. Glasswork is also part of embroidery, no doubt a very delicate and nerve-breaking exercise. The local name of this type of work is javak. This fine glasswork, when completed with skill, turns a coarse ordinary cloth into a brocade, a fabric dream of women. Another type of embroidery is called khamak. In this type of embroidery, glass is not superimposed and tucked. Threads are woven in a fashion that both sides of a piece of cloth do not look similar. Yet another typical embroidery is called mausam, season. The embroidery gives the impression of changing seasons. fascinate the tourists not only by their unbelievable scenic beauty, but also by the exquisite embroidery work. Women of Kailash, with their embroidered black headgears and embroidered loose shirts, sango, can be distinctly spotted from a distance. Their headgears or caps are of a very special make, not in use anywhere else. The cap is worn with a little tilt on the right side of the head, making the wearer look conspicuous and commanding. The cap at the back has long thick threads which hang down from neck to waist below. They look elegant and pretty. A rose or some other flower is generally displayed on the cap. Some embroidery work is also done with oyster. Sindh is famous for its colorful patchwork called bralli. It is made of old dyed pieces of cotton cloth. Gindi of Punjab is more or less similar to Ralli. These articles are used specially for respected guests and VIPs. Useless objects in the hands of craftsmen not only become useful but also sought after. The skill pays off. Wild weeds are found in abundance on the banks of rivers and lakes in Pakistan. Lot of articles of daily use are made by this material, such as baskets, stools, fans, cradles, etc. They look pretty, handy and soft, thanks to the skill of craftsmen. Date palm is of little value but turns invaluable in the magic hands of a craftsman. In Balochistan they are called pish. Baskets, mats and other useful things are made of the palm. This slipper is made of date palm called savas. Various articles are made of the beautiful feathers of peacocks as well. These articles provide a sense of relief to the people living in the sizzling heat of the deserts. Rain or no rain, use of these articles embellished with multicolors creates soothing effects. Studs add beauty and sophistication to handicraft products. The sea waves continue to offer their gifts to the shores without asking, for instance oysters and shells. These have added a new dimension to our handicraft industry. They assume attractive shapes and designs in the hands of craftsmen. Marvelous articles are made of the generous gifts of the sea waves. The body shapes of oyster and shells change, but not the spirit. The spirit remains intact. Carpet making in Pakistan is indeed the biggest handicraft industry. 90% of foreign exchange earning comes from it. Only 10% comes from the rest. Saudi Arabia, Iran and Turkey have left their deep impact on the art of carpet weaving in Pakistan. It reached a high point when the Mughal Emperor Akbar introduced the craft of making pile craft in Lahore by engaging the services of Persian weavers. Since then, Lahore has continued to be a very important center. Carpet making is a highly intricate exercise. A single quality carpet needs over 500 knots in a small space of 5 inches. Knots increase progressively depending on quality and finish. One skilled hand is only able to do a few hundred knots in a day. It therefore takes months to complete a hand-knotted carpet. It is amazing to note that raw material comprise only 20% of the total cost of a carpet, while the remaining 80% goes to labor. Delicate and soft hands are needed for this work. Young boys and girls are employed for this purpose. Carpets perform the task of introducing the history and culture in foreign lands. Important centers of carpet making in Pakistan are Karachi, Lahore, Multan, Faisalabad, Bahawalpur, Dera Ghazi Khan, Hyderabad Sindh, Liaqatpur and the desert of Thar. Northern areas of Pakistan are surrounded by snow-clad mountains where the main profession of the people is livestock farming. The wool acquired from sheep is largely used for carpet making. The waste of wool is also utilized by a process of pressing and blowing. The product thus made is called namda. It is further beautified by embroidery. Geometrical designs are woven through horizontal bands in various colors. Animals and floral designs also feature in namda. In Pakistan, camel hides have played a significant role in providing a boost to the handicraft industry. The hides and bones of a camel are raw material for various handicrafts. Multan is famous internationally for lamps, vases and jars made of camel hides. One good thing about camel hide is that it can be easily molded into various shapes. The raw hides go through various stages before assuming the shape of fine finished products. Lahore and Multan, different decoration pieces are made of camel bones which look like ivory. This work demands extreme care, patience and hard labor. The Mughal king Jahangir, who before enthronement was known as Prince Salim, had spent a great part of his life in Lahore. He was responsible for introducing a novel fashion in the shoemaking industry, which is still popular. The shoes known as Salim Shahi have been named after Prince Salim. Crochet, initially introduced in the Punjab villages, have gained popularity in cities as a fashion. These crochet look more exquisite when studded with artificial pearls. Bahawalpur is known for this cottage industry. Peshawari chappals are famous for their durability. They go well with the menswear of shalwar and kameez, trousers and shirts, and are popular both in cities and villages. onyx have added a new dimension to handicrafts. In the NWFP and Balochistan, marble and onyx are found in abundance. Karachi is the biggest center of this industry. The industry was non-existent until the construction work on the mausoleum of Quaid-e-Azam, the founder of the nation, began in 1960. After completion of the mausoleum, the industry received a tremendous boost. The craftsmen gained vast experience within the span of a short time. They shared their experience and skill with their fellow workers, and new avenues opened for the marble and onyx industry. Kevra is famous the world over for its salt range. While salt is used in food and medicines, stone salt is used for decoration items. Pakistan is blessed with enormous forest wealth. Rosewood, softwood, saigon and walnut trees provide various types of wood. Craftsmen have used this wood for manifestation of their artistic acumen. Muzaffarabad, the capital of Azad Kashmir, Rawalpindi, Lahore and Karachi are big markets for wooden furniture and other wooden products. Furniture is made with or without joint wood. The art of wood carving has produced fantastic masterpieces. It was not long ago that the art of engraving on wood reached its pinnacle. Now only glimpses are seen here and there. Chiniot in Punjab is famous for brasswork artistically engraved on wooden pieces with figments of ivory, horns of animals and plastic pieces. The craftsmen of Kashmir, Khairpur and Khanot excel in this art, which is called Jindi. Through constant rubbing, wood pieces are chiseled and painted. This process makes the shining wooden pieces as if made of metal. In this region, there is an old tradition to present metal utensils on the occasion of marriages. The markets here are full of utensils and other household tidbits made of brass, copper and German silver, giving beautiful shapes for decorative purposes. Jewelry enhances beauty. It is considered a mark of femininity. In the East, it is a weakness of women. Jewelry also serves as a monetary cover for difficult days and therefore jealously guarded. Jewelry making is quite a difficult pursuit. Metal is melted and designs are prepared by blowing. Ornaments in this part of the world reflect the influence of Greece, Rome, Turkey, Iran, and also of Buddhist civilization. Even today, our village women adorn their bodies with heavy jewelry. Women in cities, however, go for light ornaments. Machines made of hides, glasses and marbles are also catching up. Girls love dolls all over the world. Dolls no doubt reflect the cultural pattern of a country. Toy shops in Pakistan, like shops elsewhere, are full of dolls of all types, sizes and description. They are simple, attractive, colorful and tempting. The marriage between a female and a male doll is a fascinating pastime of growing girls. They weave their own dreams of future life in doing so. Nomads have a little world of their own. Most of them are good craftsmen. Handicrafts are their pastime as well as a source of earning. Wherever they can for short sojourn, they improvise their own market in and around for selling their crafts. From villages, they move on to the cities during big festivals to sell off their products in the hope of fetching good price. Big cities have now become flourishing markets for handicrafts. Quite a few big towns have exclusive handicraft markets which are a rendezvous for the discerning buyers, particularly the foreign buyers. These handicrafts are a constant reminder to the beholder that there is no limit to the creativity of skillful hands.
A magnificent obsession of man that goes back over centuries. Since time times immemorial, the relationship between man and his horse has been one of companionship, service, and friendship. The horse was man's companion in battle and war. The horse carried man into new and unexplored lands, imparting strength and power and speed to human endeavor. Almost every culture bears the stamp of this unique relationship. Works of art that show the flowering of the Muslim empires in South Asia give a place of dignity and grandeur to this magnificent animal. At about 4,500 BC, the free spirit of nature's masterpiece was tamed for the needs of man. While there are many breeds of the horse, the Pakistani strain has grown out of the famous Arab breed. Over the millennia, the horse played an increasing part in human affairs. It became a companion in sports and a beast of burden. In Pakistan, the horse still draws transports like the tanga, and carts, and carriages. At many weddings in Pakistan, the horse is the decorated center of attention as it carries the bridegroom. The sports of tent pegging and polo grew out of this relationship between man and his steed. In the 13th century, the sport of chaugan, eventually called polo, was brought by the Muslims of Central Asia to South Asia, from where it spread to other parts of the world. Pakistan's dancing horses are unique. Power and beauty and grace harmonized with music. A novel dimension is accorded to the animal, for when the drums beat and the piper blows his lyrical notes, the horse begins to dance like an enchanted being from a magical land. Only Only horses with a particular gait are selected to be trained as dancing horses. Experts believe that no other breed responds to training as well as the local breed because of its innate flexibility, an obvious requirement for a good dancing horse. But behind the electrifying performance is the acquisition of a difficult discipline through long years of training by a master trainer. He is accompanied by a whip bearer, a sais or a groom, and 4 musicians, one playing the chimta or tongs, another the pipni or pipe, and 2 beating the dhol or drums. The ideal age to start training a horse is when it is about 2 years old. A good responsive horse takes at least another 2 years to learn the art. The master trainer communicates through loud commands and jerks of the rope linking him to the horse. A whip is cracked in the background to make the horse comply better with the commands. And the training goes on with patience and endless repetition, move by move, until the horse learns to respond to the rhythm and blend its moves into the continuity required by dance. Special attention is given to the grooming and the diet of dancing horses. Apart from the normal diet of fodder and oats, a horse is also fed on fruit preserves and milk solids. A prized dancing horse can fetch about 4 times the price of a riding horse. A week before a performance, the dancing horse goes into intensive practice sessions, and on the day it is to perform, the dancing horse is elaborately decorated with great care and affection. The ghunguru or small bells are tied to its legs. More ornamentation. Scarves for dramatic effect when the forelegs begin to pound the earth. An ornate headdress in gold thread and matching cover for the back. A well-trained horse can be taught up to 7 different dances. The more popular of these are the Jhumar, the Rera, the Falaksheri, and the Dhamal. This is the Jhumar, a simpler dance with languid and graceful moves. The Jhumar gives way to the vigorous and difficult Rera dance. splendid white horse dances its version of the rera. Variations on the steps of the rera are apparent in the performance by this horse. The rera changes to the sammi. The sammi is a traditional dance of celebration performed by women in the village. The horse imitates the swaying moves of the sammi dancers and abandons itself to the intoxicating beat of the drum. The Dhammal, a vigorous foot-pounding dance of mystics at the shrines of saints. The Dhammal is danced by the horse with its torso rigid, taut muscles rippling with energy, and with tense forelimbs stamping the ground with the same mystical frenzy. During a performance, one dance can transform into the next with only a transition in the music for the versatile horse to catch. This dance, the Falaksheri, is a heightening of the mystical Dhammal. With peaks of emotion, the horse rises on its hind legs, its neck arched and majestic. The horse steps back and forth, drawing on new reserves of strength with a regal grace. all the dances, experts consider the rera, or the crawl, to be the most difficult. The rera requires great expertise in balance and coordination, for the horse has to crouch low and move forward gradually to the beat on just its hind legs. All this while, its body quivers with the tremendous effort required for skillful execution. Of course, each horse interprets each dance its own way. This beautiful white horse performs its version of Brera. This is Mehboob. Mehboob is 7 years old and has danced for 5 years now. His Jhumar and then his Dhamal, ending with a magnificent Falak Sheri, show us why he has been the champion dancer for 2 years now. Mehboob won his prize at the annual Horse and Cattle Show of Lahore, Pakistan's grand event for the exhibition of livestock. Dancing horses come here from all over the country to compete for the highly coveted Dancing Horse Trophy. Finale, Mehboob, a national treasure, dances solo for our cameras with his hard-won trophy.
भाई जाना है
बाहर चल के
बाहर मनाएंगे।
हाँ बेटा,
मतलब भूल गए थे।
तुम क्या समझती हो?
कुछ नहीं होगा सिकंदर साहब।
मैं भला ऐसी गलती कर सकता हूँ? और अगर दरमियान में कोई बात हो गई तो इसको जवाब नहीं देंगे।
जाने मुझे उस वक्त क्या हो गया था।
हम सदा के लिए जुदा थोड़ी रहेंगे। खुदा के लिए मुझे माफ कर। आज से हम दूसरे महाज पर चल जाएंगे।
फिलहाल आपकी वजह से दोबारा आज नहीं देखते।
उर्दू ड्रामा इंतहा शालीमार रिकॉर्डिंग कंपनी के वीडियो कैसेट पर दस्तयाब है।
एक लफ्ज तुमने कहा तो अच्छा नहीं।
मैं खुद तुम में से किसी को जिंदा नहीं छोड़ूंगा।
मैंने जरा से उसको हाथ लगाया उठाने के लिए, तंग करने के लिए मुझे। वो तो हमें डांट रही है।
उर्दू ड्रामा उरूसा शालीमार रिकॉर्डिंग कंपनी के वीडियो कैसेट पर दस्तयाब है।
journey through time, to a place where the time now is yesterday, today, 1,000 years ago. To a place where the life stream of the people has been cascading down through the centuries, serene, unchanging, as anonymous as the mountain streams themselves which interlace the backdrop to their culture. The valleys of the Kailash people in northernmost Pakistan. There are now only legends as to whence they came. The complexions fair, the color of eyes brown or green. They may be the descendants of stragglers from the invading armies of Alexander. There must have been other influences too, of the Indo-Aryans, Dardics, White Huns, and Sakars. The Kailash people have their home in 3 valleys lying between the Karakorams and the Hindu Kush at a height of about 6,000 feet. Their sheltered lifestyle has endured the ebb and flow of stronger cultures away in the plains below them. They number no more than 3,000 to 5,000, living in 3 adjacent valleys, Barir, Bamburet, and Rambur. The Kailash live with nature. They are a manifestation of nature, like their walnut trees or the ice-cold water in their streams. They trade but little with the world outside. They spin their own yarn and weave their own cloth. They build their own homes and live with their own beliefs and their own religion, which is pre-Islamic. Their lifestyle is practical and unabashedly, unself-consciously colorful. It is to be seen in the construction of their homes, built into the mountainside with tiers of wooden planks supporting walls of stone, which are in abundance in their valleys. It is there in the engravings with which they adorn their doors and their beams. It is in the way they are always compulsively a reflection of nature. The approach to the Kailash Valley is from Pakistan's northwestern city of Peshawar. By road it is spectacular, taking you over the Lowari top, where you journey some 11,000 feet above sea level. On either side, the peaks rise to 16,000 and more. By road, from Peshawar to the first of the Kailash valleys takes 17 hours. By air, the distance is 40 minutes to the mountain city of Chitral, and from there another 22 miles, 3 hours, by jeep to Barir. It is in Chitral that the high drama begins with the spectacle of the snow-covered peak of Trich Mir, 25,550 feet high. The name Chitral itself is evocative for those who know Pakistan. The bazaar or marketplace is the haunt of those who go in quest of handicrafts as rugged as the surrounding mountains. Or else Course, it is the halting place of those who seek this eastern gateway to the Kailash Valley. The road will now take us along the Chitral River, which has risen amidst the glaciers of Trichmir to the north. In these lower regions of this river valley, we will pass under towering walls of rock and clay. We will travel west for some 3 hours. Here we will work our mental transition. Here we will begin to leave behind the world as we know it. Presently, we approach and enter the mists of time. Fortunately for us, the jeep will only take us to one of the 3 valleys. The other 2, Bamboret and Rambur, we have the privilege of approaching on foot. Where necessary, the local people have thoughtfully provided what we will call a bridge. Pleasures of discovery lie always in the way you approach it. The Kailash are a pastoral people, and in some degree agricultural also. They use their cattle to plow their terraced fields, and with a plenitude of water, have devised ingenious means of irrigation. Their main crop, from which their staple diet is derived, is maize. The menfolk have contributed to the economy by plowing the field. Now the women take over ubiquitously, sifting the corn, gathering in the waste fodder for their cattle, yet again, naturally, compulsively, turning communal work into the occasion for social intercourse and gaiety. Everywhere in the Kailash valleys you will see women thus at work. And everywhere and always you will see their persons thus adorned. Their headdress, made from cockle shells and buttons and tinkling bells and beads, may weigh from 3 to 5 pounds. The burden is joyfully carried and with panache. The water mill belongs to the community, and it is the womenfolk that do the grinding. The water runs all the year round, and so does the water mill. Yet, another of the delightful and indeed Epicurean customs of the Kailash women is to grind the corn fresh for every meal. The diet of the Kailash people is mostly corn flour. It is mixed with in water and baked on a rough iron plate. It is eaten mostly with cheese, made from cows' and goats' milk. They will eat meat only on festive or religious occasions, and their meat will mostly be goat and sometimes cow. Never chicken and eggs, which to the Kailash people are strictly taboo. The women cook, but only the men may serve, to both family and friends. No oil or fat of any kind is used in their cooking. Even their meat is boiled only in water, with salt and sometimes spices added. Once a month, for the few days necessary, every woman will seclude herself in the communal Bashali. Here again, nature dictates the human response, which is hygienic and scientific. Here, the woman will stay not only secluded, but completely cut off from human contact. Relatives will bring their food, but may not touch them. One will place the food on the ground, the other will carry it away. The Bashali is also the maternity clinic, which the expectant mother enters 7 days ahead, and where she will nurse the baby for 40 days before returning to the village. The practice seems as natural as breathing in and breathing out. The sheep is the Kailash's most important companion through life, providing the wool for their clothes as well as milk for their cheese. Spinning and weaving are a highly developed handicraft, and one with which, again, it is the women folk that are adept. From the wool, they weave shawls and blankets, and the long dresses, which the women folk wear in winter, always dyed black, and the men wear in greys, browns, greens, and blues. Is goatskin wrapped around the ankle and foot and held in place with leather thongs. The Kailash grow no cotton, and this is one of the few articles they acquire in trade down in the city of Chitral. From this they weave their own dresses for the summer months and their belts and other articles of adornment. The women never cut their hair. Detached strands of hair are considered unclean, so the women keep their own combs in separate little holes in the rock by the side of the streams, never at home. Every 3 days or so, another social ceremony. Again, hygiene dictates. This, of course, is a part of the river out of bounds for men. These young women in their teens and early 20s are all married and have been for some years. The Kailash marry young, girls at perhaps 14, boys at 16 or 18. But the betrothal will have been arranged already at the age of 4 or 6.
Kita dia tu masuk dah akan bila masak seperti ni. So dia dah macam kadu buka sendiri kura apa dia sama screen dia dia masuk ke dia sendiri.
Take the horn of the goat and heat it in the fire, says the young woman. Thus softened, it rubs off on a flat slab of stone in the form of a paste, dark brown in color. We use it on the face to protect ourselves from sunburn. We spread it on the forehead to cure fever and colds. In the winter, you will see us women and children, and sometimes also our men, with their faces covered with this paste. Thus, frequently using it, we also naturally learn to apply the paste decoratively. The Kailash are a pre-Islamic people, a form of animists who believe in an omnipresent God. Their temple, or Jastakhan, is the abode of the female deity, Jastak, protector of children and patron saint of women in labor. She is represented by a carved panel of wood, and its spiritual worth must be said to be symbolic rather than intrinsic, for an old and withered panel can be cast aside and replaced by a fresh piece of furniture. From birth to death, Kailash customs belong peculiarly to themselves. This is their graveyard, Mandao Jao, place of many coffins. In earlier times they buried their dead in wooden coffins left above the ground with all their clothes and ornaments on them. No one may enter this grove unless to bring in a coffin or erect an effigy. Effigies are carved in wood, a symbolic reincarnation of the departed soul. They may be erected only for men, and not all men at that. Outstanding feats of valor or wealth within the community in terms of cattle and sheep are the criteria for eligibility. And then, the effigy erected, a feast must follow. Death is not an occasion for sorrow, for it brings a release from the travails of life. In more recent times, we are told, with the impact of Islam, the custom has changed. Now the coffin is buried underneath the ground, affording protection against scavengers and making for better hygiene. Now only in the more remote parts of the valleys does the old custom still live on. Islam indeed has entered the lives of the people of these valleys with characteristic peacefulness. This family is typical. Two brothers under the same roof, the one a pre-Islamic Kailash in religion and culture, the other a Muslim. There is no conflict and no prejudice on either side. And the influence of the advent of Islam in the home is by example and not by pressure. The change of religion begins to affect the lifestyle. Not only clothes change, values change, diet changes, ancient superstitions begin to be discarded. But the Kailash temperament, one of peaceful cohabitation, stays on. The milestones of life are never allowed to pass unsung in Kailash. The occasion may be one of their 2 or 3 religious festivals, or equally a birth, or a marriage, or death. The venue on these occasions is the Saji Gaur, an open-air temple of sorts, and open only to the menfolk. The occasion is celebrated as a feast, and these are the only moments when the Kailash eat meat. Saji Gaur is the deity who looks after the world under the command of the Supreme Creator. The ceremony consists of all the menfolk gathering around an open fire. Burning branches of juniper are thrown onto the fire. A goat is sacrificed, and its blood is sprinkled on the flames and on the altar. Social and religious customs become intertwined. The head of the goat is flung aside, and the boy that is quickest, and no doubt strongest, claims it and may then have it for himself to eat. The horns are then hung up from the branch of a holy oak tree within the Saji Gaur as a sign that the sacrifice has been made. Other than the horns and the hide, the Kailash eat up every part of the animal. Around mid-December come the first snows to the lower slopes of the valleys. It is Chaur Mas, year's end. Another good year. The families have flourished, the crops have been good, the harvest generous. It is time for Thanksgiving and celebration. The Kailash, after all, being happy, are a grateful people. One year has ended, the next must now begin. We bring our children to the Jastakhan, to the goddess Jastak, so that they may be blessed by her in the year that lies ahead. The sacrifices, the singing and dancing, the drinking of the wine they had made from their own grapes, go on for almost a week. Carefree life, the Kailash indeed are a tireless people. And we of the outside world, We do not envy the Kailash people their lack of education, of hospitals, of the amenities of civilized life. We hope that they will have these soon. But we also hope that in acquiring these, they will not lose their innocence and their oneness with nature. For these attributes, it is we of the civilized world who envy them, the people of Kailash.
cultures, especially Eastern cultures, rituals associated with the wedding ceremony and wedding songs in particular reflect the entire socio-cultural patterns of the people's past. Traditionally, the image of the Punjab is that of a chivalrous, gallant and stalwart people. The Punjabis are a warm, gregarious, demonstrative lot and are fiercely emotional about everything, be it love or hatred, which is why the folk music and songs of the region appear to run the entire gamut of emotions similar to the rainbow. Sometime before the wedding, the bride is isolated. She wears saffron-colored clothes and subjects herself to a meticulous routine of beautification. Large silver platters heaped with henna, ringed with earthenware lamps, ablaze with lights and tinsel arrive from the groom's house. The whole atmosphere is charged with perfume, the rustle of silk, and the kaleidoscope of vibrant color. The bride is seated on an elaborately decorated stool, while the hand drum throbs to the accompaniment of songs.